having a perfect offseason so far to help them be a major threat in the Eastern Conference over the next few years. So let's
Over the
discuss
next few
what
years.
the Atlanta Hawks have done
All
so
right. Oh, calm down. Calm down. We got Kristaps Porzingis and some bench players. Calm down.
far this offseason. They fired Landry
Were
Fields as
they good
general
bench
manager.
players?
He did
Yeah.
not place his team into the best situation over
Oh, I did not know we fired our GM. W's. W's. Hey, I did not know that.
the last few
Thank
years.
you.
When we go back to the 2021 season, Trae Young got this organization to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. It did not work out in their favor, but Trae Young has proved in the past that he could be a consistent top guard in the NBA. You just have to have the right pieces around him. And Landry Fields, he panicked. He went out there. They paid John Collins. They moved on from him for basically little to nothing. And they made a huge trade to bring in DeJounte Murray from the San Antonio Spurs. Now, on face value, this was a very good trade at the time. You have this two-way player in DeJounte Murray. You have Trae Young, one of the best offensive guards in the game. But this was a problem that they ran into. Both of the players, they need the ball in their hands on the offensive end. Trae Young is not as effective off ball as he is on ball. And the same with DeJounte Murray. He was a great defensive player for the San Antonio Spurs. He comes over to the Atlanta Hawks. He takes a step back. And their offensive rating was negative when both of the players were playing on the court, which is crazy to think about. Trae Young, he was dealing with injuries, especially with his hand. The Atlanta Hawks offense looked better with DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray, he'll deal with injuries. They'll put Trae Young out there when he was 100%. The offense looked even better with Trae Young. They just didn't gel well together. And you had to trade one of these players, either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray. Trae Young got you to the Eastern Conference Finals just a few years back. You weren't going to go out there and trade him. And he loves Atlanta, and Atlanta loves him. That's why you went out there and you traded for him on draft night.
There was really rumors of us trading Trae Young over DeJounte. Like what?
When you selected Luka and you went out there and say, hey, we'll give him to the Mavericks, give us Trae Young. And that worked out in both teams' favors here so far. They traded Murray to the Pelicans. That helped them regain some of that draft capital that they spent in that trade to bring over DeJounte Murray in the first place. And the Atlanta Hawks have been a play-in team since then. It was time to move on from Landry Fields. When you look
I'm not gonna lie, this is the most unexciting first overall pick I've ever
brand new
seen.
general manager, he's making all the right decisions. He's building an actual team around Trae Young. Now, Landry Fields did do some good. That was one bad trade. You look at talent like this. Jalen Johnson, who's a very good basketball player. Zachary Ricochet, Dyson Daniels. Those are very good players that Landry
We got the light-skinned six, bro.
Fields did bring in, but he put this team behind the eight ball. And we'll talk about all those players individually in the next couple of minutes here. But when I look at the team that the Atlanta Hawks have, you have the recipe. When you have a guard like Trae Young who can pull up from anywhere on the court and shoot threes, similar to Stephen Curry, averages
all right. Calm down.
24 points a game, led the league in assists, shot 41% from the field. You look at him from three, shot 34% from three with high volume. You just have to have a bunch of athletes around him. And that's what this brand new general manager is doing. The first huge move that they made was to go out there and bring in Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis is a very good basketball player.
Was he a good basketball player? Yeah. Is he still? I don't know. He's injured.
I don't want that to get missed in translation when I really talk about Kristaps Porzingis here. With the Dallas Mavericks, very good basketball player. The Wizards, very good basketball player. Boston Celtics helped them win that championship against the Dallas Mavericks. Even though he missed majority of that series in the finals.
He did not help
This is the one thing with Porzingis. It's his health. And he just runs into bad luck. That's it. A lot of people are calling him a unicorn when he first got drafted to the New York Knicks because of what he's able to do with the basketball. We're talking about a 7-footer that's an excellent rim protector that can shoot 41% from three. What he did this year with the Boston Celtics, it just comes down to the injuries with him. He suffered leg injuries in the past. He ran into a mysterious illness with the Boston Celtics when they went against the New York Knicks in the second round. If you can at least get...
I hate Boston, by the way. Those who don't know, I hate the Celtics.
It's 50 to 60 games of Porzingis in the regular season, you're going to be fine. And the last time he was in the contract year with the Wizards, he balled out. He was a
He was on
top
the
20
Wizards. Who
player in the
cares?
NBA. The defense is going to be phenomenal with him, and it gives the Atlanta Hawks flexibility in the front court. Clint Capella was awesome on the defensive end, but his offense was non-existent unless it was just lob passes. He
Yeah.
couldn't shoot. He wasn't going to go out there and
Couldn't
shoot
do anything.
41% from three. Porzingis can do that, and he can create shots for himself, and he can also facilitate the basketball at a high level. He's not going to go out there and average 5 assists a game, but we've seen him go out there in the past and post up triple doubles in his career. Porzingis is a very good player to have in the front court, and that pick and roll game with him and Trae Young should be phenomenal.
I want to know what our starting lineup is going to be. It's going to be Trae Young, Dyson Daniels. I don't know who the 3 is going to be. It might be Ricochet. It's going to be Jalen Johnson at the 4, and then Porzingis. I think Okongwu is going to go to the bench.
We got to see Trae Young run the pick and roll with Clint Capella, a bunch of live passes, the same with John Collins. Imagine what he can do with Porzingis.
Bro,
Especially if you run these different sets that Quinn Snyder loves to run. We're talking about a Hawks team that was dealing with so many injuries this year, but yet they were still a play-in team. They went against the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. We would have been straight if Jalen Johnson didn't get hurt, and then we didn't have to deal with a new injury every week. We would have been straight.
But you look at how the Hawks battled in that matchup without some of their best players on the perimeter, helping out Trae Young. They have the recipe for success. It just comes down to the injuries with this organization. But Kristaps Porzingis in the front court, that's going to be awesome. He's going to be a power forward. He's not going to be the true 5 with this organization. And that was not his...
Who's going to be the 5? What? What is he talking about? We don't have a 5 on the team. We have Onyeka Okongwu and Mohamed Gay. What do you mean he's not going to be the 5? He's 7'3". He better go play the 5.
With the Boston Celtics.
Our other 5 is 6'9".
Celtics. That was Al Horford. You have Onyeka
He's
right
not
there
even
at
a
the
real
center
5.
position. He can shoot the 3 ball as well. Shot 32% from 3 this previous season.
I don't know.
Are they ready?
Can
the X-Shot Hypergel Blasters?
I guess he can shoot.
Immense firepower.
I wouldn't rely on him.
He can create shots for himself. He can just bulldoze to the rim. Now, he's not going to go out there and average 20 to 25 points a game, but he doesn't have to. 14 points a game this year, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. And he's a very good shot blocker at the rim. And he shot 75% from the free throw line. So having him and Kristaps Porzingis in the front court, it gives you more offensive flexibility to take more pressure off of Trae Young. That has been the one constant that they've ran into over the last 3 years. Is so much pressure has been placed onto the pick. The Atlanta Hawks said, we'll oblige with that. Just give us a first-round pick next year and make it unprotected. On the surface, it's a great trade for both sides.
All right, that's the only part of the video I cared about was the Porzingis part.
I
wish these visuals actually went with the video.
Rookie season. He finished runner-up for Rookie of the Year, 13 points a game.
Was there a Falcons one? I think there was a Falcons one. 10 minutes.
Packers versus Bears. This is the NFL's oldest rivalry. It started in 1921, and over 200 games later, it still feels personal. The Packers and Bears are the 2 oldest franchises in NFL history. Both are cornerstone, and Bears are the 2 oldest.
The Cardinals got created in 1898 and still don't have a ring.
Franchises in NFL.
Do they have a ring? Hold on. Arizona Cards have a ring. They have 2. Okay. Didn't know that.
NFL history. Both are cornerstone teams from the league's early days, and they've hated each other ever since. From George Halas and Curly Lambeau, to Brett Favre and Brian Urlacher, to Aaron Rodgers screaming, "I own you" at Soldier Field. This
who was Aaron Rodgers' rival on the Bears?
Rivalry has spanned generations. The Bears dominated early, but Green Bay's decades of quarterback supremacy flipped the script, especially in the Favre and Rodgers eras, when the Packers won 40 of 58 meetings between...
react to The GOAT's album.
1992 and 2022.
In 4
No matter
minutes.
their records, when these two play, it matters. It's not just about football. It's about
How you
pride.
feel about
It's
how you
about
feel about the new
legacy.
emotes?
And even with the Bears trying to rebuild and the Packers turning to Jordan Love, nothing gets the Midwest fired up like
It is
Packers
Music
versus
Friday.
Bears. Ravens versus Steelers.
What
Nothing
did he
gets the
just say at the
Midwest
end?
fired up like Packers versus Bears. Ravens to Jordan Love. Nothing gets the Midwest fired up like Packers
Oh, he
versus
said
Bears.
Midwest. I was about to say.
Ravens versus Steelers. The most violent
If I-
rivalry in the NFL.
I gotta come up with some more ideas for the new ones. We got a Vince Carter one on the way. It should be here tomorrow.
Ravens
But
versus
after that, I
Steelers
gotta
isn't about
get back to
tradition
it.
or geography. It's about pain. Since the late 90s, these two AFC North bullies have built a rivalry on defense, disrespect, and downright brutality.
All
The
they do is
2000s
injure each
turned it
other.
into must-watch TV. You had Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Terrell Suggs going head-to-head with Troy Polamalu, James Harrison, and Hines Ward. Every play felt like a car crash. Every hit could end a season. They've met multiple times in the playoffs, and each was an absolute slugfest. One-possession games, brawls,
Like, these
trash
games
talk.
are
The
fun
respect
to
is
watch.
real, but so is the hatred. These teams are mirror images, smash-mouth football, elite defenses, passionate fan bases. And it doesn't matter who's under center, whether it was Roethlisberger versus Flacco or Lamar versus Pickett. When these teams line up, you know you're in for war.
Vince
This
Jack
is the
Boys too. I'm not gonna lie. Relying on Travis Scott to drop on a date that he said is like
grittiest.
that's like waiting to see Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. It's not gonna happen. Travis he's gonna drop whatever, and we'll just have to live with it, because he said he was gonna drop on his birthday. That was like a couple months ago. So I don't know.
Meanest rivalry the
It'll drop
NFL
on a random
has.
Friday.
Cowboys versus Eagles.
Next year,
This
maybe.
one's personal. Cowboys versus Eagles isn't just a divisional clash. It's a culture war. Dallas calls itself America's team. Flashy. Philadelphia, blue collar, gritty. And they hate that slogan with a passion. These fan bases are oil and water. Cowboys fans roll deep, even into Philly. And Eagles fans greet them with batteries, snowballs, and verbal warfare. Literally,
Batteries is crazy.
Cowboys fans
You
have
show-
gotten jumped in the parking
Cowboys
lot.
fans
On
get
the
beat.
field, it's had everything. Roger Staubach versus Ron Jaworski. Tony Romo versus Donovan McNabb. The Cowboys putting up 51 on the Eagles in 2022. They've traded division titles, ruined each other's playoff hopes, and never, ever missed a chance to throw shade. Even when they're both bad, the hate stays high.
Even when they're both
But when they're
bad.
both good, it becomes must-see chaos.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to be posting a lot here, so it would mean a lot if you subscribed and dropped a like for the algorithm.
No thanks.
Cowboys versus
I'll give you a
49ers.
like, though.
This is the rivalry that made the NFC. Cowboys versus 49ers isn't about
This is
geography.
classic.
It's about dominance. Two dynasties that collided again and again. In the 1970s, the Cowboys knocked the Niners out of the playoffs back-to-back years. Then, the Niners got their revenge in 1995. In the 90s, they traded NFC championships like heavyweight boxers. Aikman versus Young. Emmett versus Ricky Waters. Irvin versus Jerry Rice. Each game felt like the real
Yeah, they
Super
both
Bowl.
got some
And
all-time
recently,
greats
they've
in
picked up right where they
Those
left
might
off.
these might be the two of the best teams of all time.
They've met
Actually the two best
twice
teams
in
of
the
all time.
last three postseasons, and the
Franchise,
49ers won both. As of 2025, the all-time series is tied 21-19, Niners lead. This
I think if
rivalry
they-
is about pride.
If we
It's two
had like all-time teams in Madden, these two teams would be
fan
bad.
bases that think they should be the face of the NFC. Raiders versus Chiefs. This isn't just a rivalry, it's war. Raiders versus Chiefs might be the most hostile rivalry the NFL has
Today,
ever seen.
I don't know
It
about
started in
today.
the old AFL, and from the very beginning, these teams hated each other. In the 1969 AFL Championship, Kansas City beat Oakland to go to the Super Bowl. Raiders owner Al Davis never forgot it. And after the merger, the tension didn't cool down. It got nuclear. From bench-clearing brawls to personal fouls that looked more like criminal charges, these games were violent.
Hold on, I think we got edged. Let me check YouTube. I'm already on YouTube.